Hello astrology friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm Shannon from Home Alchemy Astrology, and let's just jump right into June. I think we're going to love it. It's going to be fast, flirty, fun, and a breath of fresh air. It's going to be very mercurial as we head into the summer solstice, especially after all of our beautiful Venusian Taurus energy that we had back in May, probably with a little bit of earth shaking with Uranus in there with the conjunctions. I think, as the dust settles, I think we're going to really love this new movement with Jupiter and Gemini, and we're going to have a stellium in June in Gemini. And one of the first things, and this is like first in our lifetime news, is Jupiter newly entered into Gemini will be trining Pluto in Aquarius, started actually on May 26th. The trine started there, but it will perfect May 31st through June 3rd at 1 degree. I think the effect will be pretty strong actually until the two planets start to separate and move past 5 degrees. So I think we can really feel this right up until about June 25th. And then as Jupiter moves along, Pluto has already begun retrograding backwards into Cap to finish his stay there before permanently moving into Aquarius in the fall. Also, Mercury will be in his home sign of Gemini as well, direct and in conjunction with Jupiter, trining Pluto. We do have Chiron, Mars conjunct on June 3rd as well, squaring Neptune and far from there Saturn, but they're nonetheless. Highlighting frustrations, I think, about wherever our Aries Chiron wound exists and possibly getting angry about it. Mars rules Aries, about the blockages of Saturn, of how we're going about trying to fix or heal that wound, or maybe, angry with the progress that we're trying to make, or even angry about the wound itself. And we could also feel a little bit of confusion there with Neptune in Pisces, especially getting up to that anaretic degree, of what steps to take to make the changes in healing where we need to take those steps where we feel wounded. On June 6th, we're going to have a new moon in Gemini at 16 degrees, affecting the mutable signs of Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius, anywhere within 12 to 20 degrees. It will sextile the North Node in Aries, and it will trine the Libra South Node. This new moon will align with Venus and the Sun, but it will square Saturn in Pisces. I don't really see this as too problematic. It can really just be motivation to move past blocks or work through issues surrounding love and communication, starting new projects in that Gemini realm. It could mean having trouble, grounding ourselves, Saturn, mentally and maintaining focus, especially with all this movement into Mercurial Gemini. There's going to be that desire for love and harmony in relationships will be more pronounced. Working with people, opportunities to work with others, money opportunities, new commitments, etc. And then we're going to see a culmination with all of these topics about 6 months from now at the Gemini full moon, December 15th, 2024. Back to that Jupiter-Pluto trine, also with Mercury. This is going to be the first in our lifetime to ever see this exact trine of Jupiter in Gemini to Pluto in Aquarius. The last time Pluto was in Aqua was 1778 to 1798. What does this mean? Well, with Jupiter in Gemini, we're going to see, especially over the next year, a lot of momentum, growth, expansion with internet-based communications, possibly electric vehicles. Gemini rules vehicles. Electricity is ruled by Aquarius. And possibly being more affordable to the hoi polloi. It maybe won't be such a elitist thing to have an electric vehicle. Some of them can be quite expensive and hard to afford for the average person. Sorry about my dog. Early childhood education, we could see big changes with that, revolutionary changes. I would love to see a dismantling of the structure of school as we know it. Not because of the teachers. I love the teachers. We have a lot of them in my family. It's just the way that the education system is in America. It's an old institution, and I feel that it's ripe for change. Mercury in Gemini adds double strength to these topics and with no confusion, as it will be in direct motion. It also Mercury rules intelligence, quick wit, data. Aquarius rules large masses of people, the internet, hopes, dreams, wishes, spirituality, humanitarianism, and then you throw Pluto in the mix, right? And Pluto is, below the surface, deep, rumbling transformation. So maybe we'll see revolutionary, genius ways that groups of people will interact and work together, fighting for social justice in local communities. I always think of the group Anonymous. You'll see them sometimes kind of rise up and enact some social justice to specifically heinous crimes. And they're very much the unseen. I feel Anonymous is so the epitome of Aquarian justice too, and also Pluto in Aquarius. So maybe we'll be seeing more groups like that in the next 20 years. The power will lie with the people, and I think justice will be served where there's been a major imbalance or abuse of power. So I would love to see changes to the education system, especially here in America. Gemini does rule the third house, and the third house does rule elementary education, childhood education, your neighborhoods, siblings, neighbors, marketing, business, and so on. But I think there's going to be a lot more movements, quick changes within smaller local communities, new community education groups. Actually, there was community app that just started in my community. More growth with the homeschooling groups. We're definitely going to see that. Jupiter education, children, Aquarius, the people. We're going to see a lot of changes with this stuff. And also, I think with Jupiter and Gemini in the opposite sign of Sagittarius, Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, I think we're going to see a lot of growth away from traditional religion, and especially touching transformational Pluto and Aquarius, who rules astrology and spirituality. We're going to see more growth in the astro world, and fast growth that I believe is here to stay. Okay, that's my last bit on Pluto trine Jupiter. Remember, this is kicking off a new 12-year cycle. When Jupiter comes back, loops back around the zodiac signs again and lands back in Gemini, we're going to see that trine again to Pluto and Aquarius. And maybe it will show a whole new world around these topics. We do have a massive stellium in Gemini in June, sextiling the North Node in Aries, trining the South Node in Libra. June's going to be a great time for social events, relationships, new relationships, graduation parties, proms, date nights, gatherings, planning new communication projects, opportunities for money around these topics, setting new educational goals, book writing, blog writing. June is going to be very mercurial and very flirtatious. Gemini can be a flirty sign. And with Mercury there, full strength, Mercury is also very youthful. So until June 17th, we're going to have Jupiter, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus until June 17th, all in Gemini. Okay, moving on. June 11th, we're going to see a little bit of crunchiness from Mars and Taurus, where Pluto and Aquarius. Flavoring the month, coming exact at 1 degree on June 11th, and then it will start to separate and get a little bit better as Mars moves on. Squares create tension and the need for action. Mars and Pluto are two malefics, so you can feel this energy a few weeks before and after the exact square. Pluto is now retrograde in Aquarius, so the effects of this might be a little bit unseen, maybe a little bit more internal. Mars and Taurus is ruled by Venus, so I don't know. I don't see too much trouble with this, especially because Jupiter and Gemini, Jupiter will be touching Pluto. It could also exacerbate problems. It could look like, Taurus rules banking, land, cattle, food, money, luxury goods, fine wine, fine food. Pluto and Aquarius, large masses of people, hidden agendas, anything powerful and below the surface, deep excavation, dare I say, earthquake, rumblings, but hopefully nothing that extreme. Behind the scenes, maybe powerful people doing landmass grabs, powerful people or powerful few taking land from the people. So cattle industry issues, mass food production issues. I see it too far away to detract from the Mercury-Venus conjunction, which is coming up on June 17th and 18th. And once again, don't forget Jupiter is here and it is a protective planet. June 12th, we're going to see Mercury in Gemini in a square, causing a little bit of pessimism or possibly a block in communication. Feeling frustrated if you're working on a project or with people, getting your ideas across, getting heard. You might have a little bit of loneliness in relationship here. It might just be best to carve a little bit of time out for yourself on this day. Relax, just have some quiet time with your thoughts. This too shall pass, and quickly, especially with Mercury. He speeds around pretty quick. June 17th and 18th, Mercury and Venus in Gemini will be making a conjunction on the 17th, and then again exact on the 18th at 1 degree of Cancer. What does this mean? These could be good days for anything communication related, buying new vehicles, new contracts, good things, good money news should come from these contracts. Venus rules money. Anything related to education, educational goals for your children for the next year, car loans, purchasing new cars, launching a dating app, launching a small business, marketing, all of these things. If you're planning some events around those topics, the 17th and the 18th will be very good days for that. June 20th and 21st, the sun will enter Cancer on June 20th, and we will have a full moon in Capricorn at 1 degree, opposing the sun in Cancer at 1 degree on June 21st. This may look like a culmination around Capricorn earth sign based themes of government, politics, powerful institutions, 10th house career related issues, tangible things like money, land, food in the world. Especially Ceres is there, the nurturing mother asteroid in Capricorn, but she's retrograde. And I feel that when planets and asteroids are retrograde, you feel the effects of them more. They seem and appear closer to Earth. There was a new moon 6 months prior to this full moon, and we might be wrapping up these tangible goals that you have set in your own life to do with career, home, Cancer, and family related matters, or maybe trying to strike a balance between the two because they will be in an opposition to each other. So there could be a little bit of stress there, especially it's like the two are on the seesaw at the playground. Over the month, we will see a square from Saturn and Pisces. Wait a minute, sorry, I already talked about that. I think by the end of the month, we will be welcoming the soothing, watery Cancer energies. Maybe we need to ride off into the sunset and, call into work, take a beach day, and go for a swim, and just cool off and absorb all the things that have unfolded from all of the conjunctions in May and then again in June. Let's jump into all 12 signs and see what these dates hold for you. And please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and help my channel grow. And I didn't mean to rhyme just there. All right, see you in July. Hello, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome to June. I think you're going to like it so much better than May. May was very fixed, earthy, Taurus energy. And while that can be lovely, I think you're going to like the movement of Gemini, which sextiles your Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I think it's going to be very fast moving, which is also something that you tend to like, especially being ruled by Mars. On June 3rd, but it will be felt throughout the month, there will be the Jupiter-Pluto trine, also with Mercury in the mix. And for you, this will be happening from your third house of communication, marketing, peers, let's see what else. Peers, business, to your 11th house of hopes, dreams, wishes, lottery wins, social networks, the internet, the ability to follow our dreams. I think you're starting to get the picture there. This could look like good news about any of these topics, possibly getting, money for school, money to start a business. This can be sometimes large lottery wins, but I wouldn't suggest blowing your paycheck. Maybe getting a community-based raffle ticket to win some money or some other local sweepstakes. Networking opportunities can also bring you big abundance. You can start something now in any of these areas. And with the energy of this trine baked in is its birth date. You can also start writing projects, which are also related to the third house, or any communication-based project, again, related to the third house. A business marketing strategy you can develop, internet-based, or something that can serve large groups of people in some way. I'm thinking of an app that can maybe help people in communities, something along those lines. There also will be a Mars-Chiron conjunction in your first house, squaring up to Neptune and a very wide square to Saturn as well, taking place from your first house to the 12th. I think you will be healing a wound, a Chiron wound, about realizing what you want to become, who you want to become, and the structured steps that are needed to get there. Saturn is structure and also blockages. It can be frustrating at times. You might get angry, Mars, about how you feel about yourself and the lack of progress that you're making. Blockages or the steps that you want to take might be hard to figure out. Neptune rules confusion and delusion. The key is to use Mars, that is in your first house, to motivate yourself and go after healing that woundedness in a structured Saturn, step-by-step way, little by little each day, creating the changes that you need to feel better. The key will be to be consistent, so you can start to feel better about who you are and where you're going. And you can do this maybe, for an example, if you just don't like the way that you look, maybe taking some kind of physical action, which is very Martian. And, maybe like using Pilates, which is a slow build up to building muscles in your body and trimming down and losing weight. But you do that consistently, but you also expend a lot of energy and use your muscles a lot, Mars. So that would be a good example for you. All in all, just use your Mars, who rules you, in a healthy way to feel better about you, and in turn healing your Chiron wound. And then hopefully once this is healed, this should never repeat itself again. The new moon is on June 6th in Gemini at 16 degrees, and that will be sextiling your ascendant, your sun, or your moon in a flowing aspect. Setting intentions around those third house projects are huge right now, because that's where a stellium will sit until about June 17th, June 18th. This is where all the action is happening in that Gemini house. So I think June will really be more about business, self-worth, money, dreams and goals that you have. I'm not saying that love can't come into play. I'll explain that. We'll get into that in just a minute. But I really do think you're going to be having your mind on your money, on communication matters, siblings, neighbors, neighborhood, those types of areas, and also your 11th house, which is, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, your goals, big, big things. But all of these placements are in a really good flow back to you, and you still have the North Node still in your sign in Aries. What are you starting to do that can free you up in the world of finance, self-made wealth, small business, writing projects, local community? Any or all of that can hold wonderful gifts to unfold as this starts a cycle now. So starting now, and then you can see the fruition of this when the full moon comes back in Gemini in about 6 months. On June 11th, there's a square from your second house of Taurus, which is currently housing Uranus, squaring retrograde Pluto and Aquarius in the 11th house. What does that look like? You could look out for, I would say, discord with friends or issues trying to make money. Second house, and then in relationship to the 11th house, which is large groups of people. Maybe difficulty with financing projects you're trying to start, is Taurus rules banking. It rules money, rules land, luxury goods, food, wine. The second house is also the house of self-worth as well. Aquarius rules in the 11th house, large groups of people, the internet. So you could be energized to push through any kind of obstacles there relating to making money, relating to your self-worth, especially with Chiron right there in your first house, and, kind of brushing up against that 11th house, which are, the things that you were hoping for, the dreams, the goals that you're trying to accomplish, feeling blockages there, friends, etc. I would suggest always with a Mars-Pluto square, be careful around the exact date of the 11th. I always suggest staying away from large crowds. Don't get into fights. These are two malefics squaring up against each other. Try to write out some of your blocks or do a vigorous workout in nature. The second house being Taurus for you is very lush. Taurus loves being outdoors, hiking, those types of things. So get a nice vigorous workout that way in the natural environment. And because there is a way through this, once this aspect starts to separate. So just lay low, plan things out, write things down, keep calm, do low-key sports, do nothing with sharp instruments, if you can avoid surgeries on this day, don't do anything with surgeries. If you're working in and around the home, be careful with sharp objects. Mars rules you, and it also rules sharp instruments. So don't rush around those days surrounding the 11th, before and after. And the depositor of Mars is Venus. Mars is in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. I don't see too much trouble with that square, but I just say be careful nonetheless. On June 12th, there will be Saturn in Pisces in your 12th house of self-undoing in distant lands. It's the 12th house rules your subconscious mind, hospitals, institutions, and charity, to Mercury in Gemini in your 3rd house of locale, business, siblings, neighbors, neighborhoods, cousins, education, writing projects, internet, social media apps, etc. Could be your everyday mind squaring up to your subconscious, needing your attention. Could really just be the conflict of maybe wanting time alone to contemplate the world and in your everyday environment needing your attention at a moment's notice. Moving on to the 17th and the 18th, Mercury, Venus will conjunct in Gemini at 29 degrees, and then again in Cancer on the 18th at 1 degree. For you, this happens in your 3rd house, and then the next day it will happen in your 4th. Is anybody planning on buying a house or submitting an offer on a house? The 3rd house can also rule contracts. Are you starting a business from home in the 3rd house areas, such as education, apps, business, marketing, communication projects with siblings, cousins? Busy minds, loving thoughts, loving communications on these days, especially 17th and 18th. But really, you could see this throughout June. I didn't mention it before, but Gemini is a very flirtatious sign, so there's that. This could be the 17th and 18th, again, could be good for date nights or beginning a new romance. You could possibly meet a love partner with Venus in your 3rd house of locale, or it also rules the internet, so maybe online somehow or social media, your local restaurant, bar, bakery, coffee shop, etc. There could also possibly be good money news. I didn't finish my coffee this morning. On and around these dates, again, maybe play the local lotto or contest. You could win. It could be a good day to write or start writing and or beginning a communication business. Okay, moving on. June 21st, the sun in Cancer at 1 degrees will oppose the full moon in Capricorn at 1 degrees. This happens between your 4th house of home and family and your 10th house of career and what you do out in the world and what you're seen for. The 10th house also rules father and father figures. It's ruled by Capricorn. Because the two are opposing each other, you're having difficulty balancing home and work life or work projects in and from the home. Maybe you're trying to finish a work project and something home-related keeps getting in the way and slowing you down or is blocking you. You may really feel that since you're Mars and Mars is in Taurus, you may really feel that blockage. Taurus is, kind of a leisurely sign. It's Venusian ruled, and Mars is in detriment in Taurus. Just don't blow your lid. Maybe take a breather from the house or do your work in a cafe surrounded by trees, Taurus. And if you can, this too shall pass. On June 29th, Saturn will retrograde at 19 degrees in your 12th house, giving you time to go over anything that may have come up with the subconscious mind, self-undoing patterns, and faraway places. Once you learn how to fix these issues or come up with solutions on how to move forward with regard to these topics, these patterns have a chance to move on permanently for you. If you do the work, Saturn always requires you to put in the work consistently and over time. He is the hard teacher, but he will reward you if you do the work. Again, what does the 12th house represent? It represents your dreams, spirituality, self-inducing behaviors, the subconscious mind. Also past life experiences, faraway places, charity, prisons, institutions. Maybe you have a chance to go back to a place where you were in a past life and it will feel familiar to you and maybe hold benefits there. Overall, there's going to be a lot going on in June. It will be very mercurial, chatty, busy, flirtatious, possibly, sometimes scattered. And by the end, you're going to need a break from all of that mental activity. So maybe hit the beach, go for a vigorous swim, or just have a good hard workout whenever you're feeling overwhelmed or agitated. By the time Cancer season kicks in on June 21st, you're going to start to be more focused on home and home-related topics, maybe wanting to fix things there or finish up projects in and around the home, or just simply rest in a hammock out in your backyard. July is going to hold some great moments for creativity, romance, and healthy competition and moving projects forward. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below.